L'chaim, l'chaim. PURIM. Oh, thank you for everyone for joining us at this hour. It should be Balaylahu Nada Shnas HaMelech, just like we're up. Right, we know Shnas HaMelech, Melech Malchim Lachim. Right, so to learn Divrei Torah night should also be more the Melech Elyon. Right, they should save Am Yisrael like he did all those years ago. It's almost time for Tikkun Chatzos. By the time this Maamar is over, you could do Tikkun Leah. You don't do Tikkun Rochel on the day that you don't say Tachnun. We could do Tikkun Leah tonight after the Maamar. Anyways, I just wanted to open up with saying the ducky hat that I'm wearing. I guess that should be the first Nakuda of the Maamar. But it's really where we're going to end. But I'll just, as a teaser, right? This ducky hat is very special. I wore it in, back in Eretz Yisrael, my Bachur days. I wore it in front of Rav Yaakov Wamser, and during that one winter's month, I was in Miami for Berlin Bar Rav Yochan's Zweig. Zayin Gesund, L'Avdi Ben Chaim L'Chaim. You should live and be well, Rav Yochan's Zweig. I wore it there, and that's how long ago. They were talking about a ducky hat from the 80s, and it was my Purim garb. So why am I bringing this up? Because everyone's talking about Rav Tzvi Kushelevsky's big nace, and I'm not belittling it. Ashreinu Shezachinu in our days. It's such an open sign of just about a nace nigla that a man has his firstborn at the age of 88. That ain't shum yush ba'olam. Well, this ducky hat represents that also. Maybe people won't be as impressed with it as other stories of Hashgacha Pratis. But when I, this was from the mid 80s. And then in the very early 90s, I left everything behind and I went to learn by my Rebbe Moshe Shapir. I left everything in my dorm room in Eretz Yisrael. I just left from, day to day. I just, as soon as I got the green light from him, I could come learn by him. I abandoned all my Sfarim and all my Purim shtick. I abandoned a lot of things in my dorm room and just left, so. And then, my Sfarim, to the best of my knowledge, I eventually got back. Bachar and Brendan bought it for me, to my house in New York, to my mother, Aleh Hashem, and eventually it made it to Eretz Yisrael. And but that was it. All my Purim shtick was deemed lost. And when I visited Eretz Yisrael some 10 years after I was married, let's say 1998, it was less. It's actually much less than 7 years after I was married. I came to Eretz Yisrael. I visited with my Rebbe Nachum Lansky's also in Gesund, and and I asked the plant manager, what was his name? I don't remember his last name. It's Friedman. His first name eludes me. Friedman was the plant manager. If you this, we're talking about 5-6 years ago at that time. It's gone. It's gone. It's been thrown out. Okay, and this was in late 90s, just a year or two ago, we're in the 2020s, right, a box arrives at my house. I got a phone call for it, where am I living now, from someone at Eretz Yisrael. Actually, the son of that Friedman took over for him. And as I didn't know what they wanted, so I gave them my address, and a box came. They found a whole bunch of stuff of mine. Which was deemed lost. My sombreros, they did not find. Some stuff still missing. But this ducky hat came back, right? That's it. I thought lost, I don't, you do the math, abandoned in early 1990s, came back in the 2020s. Look at that. Ain't yush ba'olam, and it came to me. Unbelievable. It's, Russia's, machzir, the Machzir the Nishkachos, right, things that are forgotten, which is the opposite of Amalek. Amalek wants us to forget the Torah. So that's why, as a countermeasure to him, we have to have Zachor and Lo Sishkach. Right? So now the common line that I got, people would ask, you're only wearing a ducky hat. Why are you not wearing a ducky suit? Right? That was a question I used to always get, from our Shivas, Zechron Livrocha, from Yochanan Zweig, Abdu Ben Achaim L'chaim. And my answer was like this. The reason why I'm dressed, wearing a ducky hat in general is because Adam Mauritian, Yoni, I'm in the middle of a Maamar. Come over. And we're live. Yoni Citybag right here calling in. Okay, fine. Okay, just started. Come on, come over. Well, you bring people over. Okay, bye-bye. Anyways, so, what's a kesher to duck, to Purim? As I explained that the Adam Rishon before the Chet had, there's a chazal like that. He had webbed hands because he didn't need to do work, right? His whole work was to just, la'avdo l'shamra, to work the garden, and which didn't really need maintenance. To work the garden represented mitzvah saseh, and to guard the garden represented mitzvah lo saseh. Right, but wasn't work as we know it today that happened after the chet. So now he has to have he has to be malleable. He has to, I don't know if that's the right word. He has to have dexterity. If that's the right word. Be able to do work. Okay, so I say on Purim, in a manner that I'm about to explain, we go back to Chet, Lamala from Chet Adam Rishon, Besod Ad Lo Yada, because our situation is because of Eitz Hadas. So Ad Lo Yada, we get past the Eitz Hadas, and we get back to a Bechina of Adam Rishon Kodem Achet. So we're like the duck, we don't have to work anymore. On Purim, you don't have to work. It's the problem is it only lasts for a day, but on Purim you reach, it's a portal to the future. As we've explained a few times in course of the last week, Purim is a portal to the future, the day after Amalek's gone. That's the secret. Why don't we keep Purim on the 13th? That's the day we creamed them, killed 75,000, which is just a raya that, that Purim is a Second Amendment holiday. We did not outsource our protection to Achashverosh. Took matter into our own hands. Now, 75,000, we're definitely using AR-15s. It's not a question. How do you kill that many people in just one day? So why don't we make Purim on the 13th? That's when the actual Milchama happened, right? When we, kicked. We make it the day after. V'noach ba'arbasa, v'noach b'chamisha, which I have a nice board on that, which I'm going to share tomorrow, unless we go all night. But what do I do? The verb v'noach, right? And we rested. That's a very interesting verb that's used, right? But the point is that Purim is about the day after. A world without Amalek. It's killing Amalek is just it's a mitzvah, right? But the mitzvah, you're only makayim the mitzvah when we finally reach a world without Amalek. So now, of course, everyone who kills a few Amalekim, that's part of the mitzvah. But the mitzvah is not accomplished until Amalek's gone. So it's like, there's the Maisa mitzvah and there's the Kiyum mitzvah, kind of like having children, right? As the best marshal, that as opposed to the Minchas Chinuch. There's a lot of riders, also true for Moshe Feinstein to this effect. Of course, the Maisa mitzvah is being married, carried on married life. Of course, everyone agrees the Kiyum mitzvah is having a boy and a girl. The Maisa mitzvah is, being married. All right, that's the Maisa mitzvah. So, you can have a Maisa mitzvah, and the Kiyum mitzvah is 9 months later. Right? Another similarity is how the Brisker Rav explains, according to, according to the Shita and Sfir Summer, that all the 49 days are one big mitzvah. Of course, one big mitzvah means that they're interconnected. And that's why if you miss one whole day, you're out of the count. You're gone. They're interconnected. It's not, so they are, so the famous kasha is, why do you make a bracha on Sfira Somer every single night if it's one big mitzvah, one big maisa mitzvah, I mean to say, right? Of course, even those who hold that every night is its own mitzvah count doesn't mean that in the list of the 248 composite commandments, there's 49 mitzvahs of Sfira Somer. Of course, everyone in the monam mitzvahs counts as one mitzvah. Question is, how many ma'as? Is every night an independent ma'aseh mitzvah? Like if I put on tefillin, tomorrow, it's a separate ma'aseh mitzvah from putting on tefillin, on Monday and on Tuesday. Each one is its own separate, but if they're interconnected, it's all one big ma'aseh. Why do you make a separate bracha every night? Says the Brisker Rav, a very interesting yesod, that the brachas on the Maisa, not on the kiyum. It's all one big kiyum. They all add up to one big kiyum, right? So you're not mekayim a whole mitzvah every single night, according to that shita that the days are interconnected. So you're not mekayim, but it's a separate Maisa mitzvah, and the brachas on the Maisa, not on the kiyum. That's what you saw from the Brisker Rav. Which it's I have a mahalach in which also a good mahalach to just answer that question of why according to that sheet there's a separate bracha on of Sfira Somer every single night, right? According to sheet that all the days are interconnected. Fine. But I just want to illustrate the point that in every door we kill some Amalekim, but Muhammad Hashem b'Amalek midor. Now we have to midor. We have to reach Timcha Zecher Amalek. We have to reach a world where there's no Amalek. That means it's not every time an Amaleki we wage war against Amalek. It's a Maisa mitzvah, but the Kiyum mitzvah is only going to be at the end of time. Like we read in today's laning. We have rest from all our enemies, then Timcha, we haven't reached that point yet. But it's very good according to the Rambam. The Rambam holds that the din of Mechias Malk is a mitzvah on the cloud. It's not a mitzvah on the Yachid. Which if a person asks, should I ice an Amaleki Bizman Hazeh as a private citizen, just do some vigilante action? To ask Amalekim, the answer is, of course, yes, right? Because we have to rid the world of all Jew haters. It's its own mitzvah, but it's not a key, but there's no chiyuv out Timcha Zecher Malk. It's a chiyuv on the cloud. And since a chiyuv on the cloud, that's why, every milchama we have with Amalek can be door, it all adds up because it's a mitzvah on the nation. And all the daras are connected. They're all part of the unified nation. And so a Maisa mitzvah done, thousands of years ago in the days of Shushan is mitzdaref to the, it's a Maisa mitzvah that is mitzdaref to the Kiyum mitzvah of Mechias Malk because the mitzvah is on the Yam, it's on the Tzibur. It's not on the Yochid. That you said, they didn't do the mitzvah, they didn't do the mitzvah. No, since the mitzvah is on the Yam, all the daras are part of the Yam. So when it eventually happens, the kiyum, right, the schar on the kiyum of getting rid of Malk is going to go back, the mafreya on anyone who ever participated, because it's going to be mitzdaref to the final kiyum because the mitzvah is on the nation, right? Ken nir levar, right? So, right. So that's the reason why, Purim is the day after the Milchama was historically. Historically, Milchama was earlier today, on the 13th. Purim, we celebrate, it's a portal to the future of a world without Amalek. And that's also in of Shushan Purim, right? It's to celebrate the future when Yerushalayim will be rebuilt and be as honorable as Shushan was in its day. Tivnei Chomos Yerushalayim, okay. So Purim is really a holiday in the future, and you know that because that's the only holiday we celebrate, Lasid Lavo, when all the other Moadas are going to be bottled. So Purim is like really, it's the Chag of the future, and the Koach of Purim is to tap in like a portal in time to the future, to the Vinoach, the day after, when there's no Amalek in the world. We tap into like a And it's an amazing thing. It just blows the mind, right? That we're in a time machine on Purim to when the world is without a milk, which also means a world without a Yetzer Hara. And that's already Rav Yosef Engel on the Chuvas Mari Mintz, I think it is. Mari Mintz asked like why we kind of like live on the edge. We live on the edge on Purim. A little bit drinking for sure. Drinking a lot, you're living on the edge. But men dressing up like women, kind of, sorta. Why is that little silbash like at least and all these, so the early Achronim, grappled with this and struggled with it, right? Minhag Yisrael. And Rabbi Spengel, as I recall, says, listen, it's the day where you can live on the edge. You can't do a out and out Isser, God forbid, but you can mamish live on the edge because it's a day without Yetzer Hara, right? So we're allowed to, really, really push things to the limit. But of course, only if you're Machaben L'Shem Shemayim, right? But we mamish push limits. Can't transgress anything mamish, but we, hey, Yoni, play have a seat. Very important. We're in the middle of, steak is very good. You can have some if you want. You can heat it up. You want to, please catch up to us. We're already, there should be, yes, absolutely. Help yourself. Go in the kitchen, help yourself. Anyways, so Purim is a portal in time to the future. Adelo Yada. Like we explained, and that's why we're like the ducks again in the sense that we don't have to don't have to worry. So every time I say to my rabbeim, Lavda ben Achayim Achayim, they say, okay, so even more so, you should be in a ducky suit. With the webbed, why only a ducky hat, right? So I explained to them, and they accepted my explanation. Said we are only there in our heads and in our hearts. We have clarities that we're adlo yada, we're beyond the eitz hadas, and we're adlo yada, right? But but it's all we do this amazing journey. To the future, to a world that's the day after, the Machar, literally the Machar, Machar Kabbalah Scharim. We do this fantastic journey, but only in our minds and hearts. Right? It's only in the head. Adlo Yada. And we don't even go there consciously. We're Adlo Yada. Generally at that point, right? You're not thinking nothing, consciously. So but of course, in the physical reality around us, right, it's still adulterated with evil, right? The leftists are not going to disappear on Purim. Halavai. Maybe this Purim they will. Maybe. Halavai. All the evil of leftism and the Hamas, halavai, they should all disappear on this day, right? But this portal is totally, it's a total experience of mind and heart. Hadar kiblog mechashverosh, right? It's all in the head and heart, right? It's not in Lamaisa, unfortunately, not yet. That's otherwise. What does the future hold? If Purim is 100% portal to the future, then why would we even care about getting to the future? No, Purim, as much as it's a portal to the future, it's a portal here, only here, right? In the physical reality, all the evil is still running rampant. Just we, in our minds and hearts, in our consciousness, and even not in our consciousness, in our being without our consciousness stays here. Our consciousness is shredded, right, with Adelo Yoda. So we make the journey to the future, the day after Amalek, right? We make that journey in our heads, right? But not in our meisim. So that's why only a ducky hat, right? And not ducky hands, right? And that's it. I want to tell you, my Rabbein were makabel this Hezbollah, right? Right.
It's from Hertzfeld. Yeah, I was waiting online there.
Uh-huh. Oh, thank you very much. Wow. Shkoyach. Yes. So he told me it's for Reverend Shasia. Shkoyach. Yoni, way to go. Anyways, the where's that in
Hertzka. You know Hertzka?
I don't know.
He's the one that built BMG everything. He has a huge line, 100 people.
You wait online for us.
Yeah, it's freezing outside.
Come on, thank you. Yoni, way to go. No, Baruch Hashem, you guys also out there in and out there hearing that joke, please donate to Evan Shasia on this day. Evan Shasia, so you can help us spread Torah. If you just Zelle, it all goes directly to the nonprofit and it's tax eligible. Zelle to 917-612-4778. 917-612-4778. Just go there and make a donation so we can continue spreading Torah this way. Or alternatively, go to our make a donation on our website. It all goes directly into our nonprofit account, so you get it's tax deductible. EvanShasia.com. Amen. It says donate here. We just posted it on the chat board. Let's just here we go. EvanShasia.com. Donate. Okay, just make a donation. Go there right now. The covered Purim help us. Be Maamar Torah, and like I said, you could also Zelle. It goes the same number. Zelle at 917-612-4778. That should help. Anyways, so on Purim we are in a portal to the future, but only in machshava. Not in full physical reality, because evil still unfortunately still exists. So and that's why only Ducky Hat, and it's only in machshava. It's not in Lamaisa yet. But I do want to.
Lamaisa is tomorrow.
Look, yeah, yes, but but it's still even though it's all in machshava, it is the machshava of the Maisa, machshava like of living in a world where Lamaisa is no Amalek. So we make this journey in our minds and hearts, right? But I want to explain this. Very, very clearly. The Amalek came because Al Sharafu Yedei Minatayra, right? Am Yisrael Yoav, right? Ham Yisrael B'Refidim, right? So Chazal say that don't Refidim Rafu Yadayim. Our hands, the grip of our hands on Torah slipped, right? So now, even though we have yet to fully clarify what this means, so you learn Torah with your mind, you learn Torah with your heart, with your eyes. So what do you mean? Rafu Yedei min Torah. The hands slipped from the Torah. The hands slipped, right? But even without breaking it down and going into the full depth of it, you could already understand, why the tikkun was with Moshe with his hands up. Because Rafu Yedei min Torah, right? The hands slipped from the Torah, right? So now Moshe Rabbeinu represents Torah. He's the one who brought Torah to Am Yisrael, right? So his hands up is collectively, raising the hands back up to the Torah. Slip from the Torah, raise it back to the Torah. Okay, but we're just, we're just saying points. We need to connect the dots, right? But when Am Yisrael was Makabel Torah at Sinai, they were Magdim Naaseh Lenishma, right? They said, that's considered to be a big, schos on our part. We said we will do before we will hear, right? So now, it's the famous question, okay? How do you do, right? How do you do before you hear? How can there be such a thing? How do you do before you hear, right? So, there's plenty of explanations, right? But the bottom line is like this, right? with all the and all the different explanations boil down to this point, right? There's like, of course, if I need to receive instructions, I need to receive instructions. I can't guess what to do, right? But do those instructions need to be processed and have to be negotiated, and yeah, or do those instructions go straight from the ear to the fingertips, right? In a sense that you don't have to go through the process of convincing yourself, and nothing gets lost in the filter of like only hearing what you want to hear, right? Like the Divrei Torah goes straight to the fingertips, Nasa, right? And then so you'll do it, and then Vinishma is then to have the further depth of it, But I don't need to be convinced. I don't need to convince my Yetzer Hara. I don't need to I don't filter out what's uncomfortable. The pure Divrei Torah goes straight from the tzivui to the Maisa, right? Which is what tzivui really means. Tzivui is not a cerebral thing. It is in the sense that we want to analyze the seichel that went into the tzivui, right? All the wisdom that there is in the command, but it's a command. So the command is about doing. Command is not about contemplating. So Amiso said Nasr for Nishma is that there's not going to be any filter between the command and the actual performance. None of this like, well, I didn't think you meant that, or I never signed up for that, or any type of rationalization as to you just do as the Torah says, right? That's called mitzvah, tzivu. Right? So now the Gemara says in Bracha stuff, Zion, right? We say to the Ribono Shel Olam, Galui v'yadua fanecha, shirtzoneinu la'asos ritzoncha, umi ma'akev sor shvisa shiva malchus, Ribono Shel Olam, we want to do in accordance with your will, right? So you should be rotzah, but what gets in the middle? Sor shebe'isa v'shibud malchus. Right, the chametz in the dough, and that refers to the Yetzer Hara, or Shiva, the Golos. Both are represented in Purim. Because Amalek is is a nation of Yetzer Hara. Now, Shekarcha, Sveikas, they are a nation that lives out. Now it's leftism. You want to make sense out of life in this day and age. It's like life is without rhyme and reason. Ask yourself one thing: what would the Yetzer Hara want to see? And then in life makes perfect sense. See, someone's being inconsistent. This is the thing that he himself fought against, and he's doing it. Well, yeah. Well, that's ask what does Yetzer Hara would want, and that's perfectly consistent. They should be echad b'peh, echad b'lev, and he should tell you, right, not to do something, but he himself does it. It's like any leftist. They accuse you of what they themselves are doing. So hypocrisy. Ask yourself what the Yetzer Hara wants, and then it makes perfect sense, right? So the Amalek, which so besides the fact that he's a nation of Yetzer Hara, but also Shibud Malchus. We were in Golos. We were Meshubit to Achashverosh. It gets in the way of Lamaisa. You see, so Amalek, he doesn't in one shot make you an apikaris, right? But what he does already do in one shot is that he cools you down, he makes you doubt, and that is what could cause anything between a delay or a lot to get lost between having received the command and what you actually do. You need a lot of enthusiasm. You got to be hot, to fully fulfill everything that is demanded of you, by the Torah. Sasha Karcha, and it's, so he slows you down, he cools you off. So in that way, a lot gets lost between the rotzen, right? The rotzen is Lashon Ratz, my Rebbe Moshe Shapiro used to always say, drive. You got to be passionate to have a lot of drive. He cools you down, so the drive slows down, and what filters down to the actual lemaisa, the naaseh, gets mitigated, right? So without getting into right now what happened by Maso Mariva, right? Maso Mariva, right? That's where this was, Sheikh Chasatira. I have to kind of give a shout out to my old friend Simcha Kalish. Talk about bringing back the long forgotten. I just reconnected to a man from my high school years. It was like an older brother to me, right? So he's actually spoke very nicely in Charles Shudas that's called Mariva, Reeve. It's a Sheikh Chasatira over there. What exactly was the sin of asking Hashem Kirbeinu Mayan? We discuss in my book on Purim. Go get it. Not too late to get it today, because if it doesn't come till after Purim, it also covers, Parshas Parah and Parshas HaChodesh. And as we said at the beginning of our remarks, Purim is celebrated in Olam Haba. So this book will never, never become, obsolete. Never. Because we keep Purim in Olam Haba. So get my Nes B'Shushan on Amazon right now. Okay. But anyways, so the roughly day Minat Torah is that Am Yisrael, when they had the doubt of Hayeshem Kirbeinu Oyin, that doubt, it loosens the grip of hands to the Torah, that it should be a very, very smooth continuum from getting to the tzivui to the actual doing, right? And that continuum was disrupted by Amalek, right? It was a precursor to Chet Egel, because the Luchos Rishonos that we got, because we said Naaseh v'Nishma. So what does it say by the Luchos Rishonos? V'Luchos Ma'aseh Elokim Michtav Elokim Charos Luchos. Both the tablets were divine; they were Ma'aseh Elokim. The Luchos were Ma'aseh Elokim, v'Michtav Elokim. But Ma'aseh Elokim connected the fact that we said Naaseh, so the actual Luchos were Ma'aseh Elokim. Right, the physical Luchos were Ma'aseh Elokim, because we had purified our body, that we would automatically, the body would just run to do whatever it's commanded. It wouldn't have to filter through the consideration and the deliberations of the mind. It would go straight from the ears, just to understand the simplest meaning of the word, and then go straight down to the fingertips. And connected that, even the Luchos were of, Ma'aseh Elokim connected Naaseh. Right, so and it's because we said Nasish, we did the Cheda Egos, and even though we did Tshuva, second Luchos are not. They're the stones are earthly, and that's the problem. The body is not holy anymore, like the first Luchos. The tablets of the first Luchos. The body is all adulterated with evil, and and we have to engrave on the stone. We have to carve on our hearts. We got to carve. It's a whole thing till we get ourselves to actually, do Ratzon Hashem, and so to internalize Ratzon Hashem. It's hard work. So it's a very, it's Nishma first, and it's a long distance from Nishma to Naaseh. You got to carve away, chip away against our heart of stone. That's what I'm saying by the second Luchos. And Amalek was a precursor. If you want to learn that, Amalek happened before Matan Torah, like the simplest meanings of the Psukim, because Vayesu Refidim Ve'achnu B'Midbar Sinai, right? So if you want to go, it was all precursor. We were really, we got a sneak preview, and maybe it left a little of an impression. Zecher Amalek, because even after that, Amalek was reduced to a Zecher. Machem has Zecher Amalek. Right, for reasons why Amalek is called Zecher Amalek, is something which we discussed in the book also, and we could discuss it tomorrow. Right, but Amalek's reduced to a Zecher, but that Zecher still left a thing, and the simplest reading of the Psukkah would be because of that Zecher Amalek inside of us. Right, that's what made us susceptible to Chet Egel. right? Which was to undo Naasev and Nishma. As a matter of fact, that's a Medrash Rabbim Parshas Yisrael that says we pour 2 cups for Hashem at Sinai. The Medrash gives a mashal. A king asked his servant for 2 cups. No, sorry, which reminds me, I better have my second cup. We're supposed to have 2 cups connected Naasev and Nishma. Here, Yoni Seabags here also with me. So there's a second cup. Of course, cup in Yiddish is also head. You have to have 2 minds. You have to have your regular mind that you destroy with drinking, and you have the higher mind that sets in. The das that's lama from Eitz Das Tovara Khan. So the king asks his servant for 2 cups. And then the servant's bringing 2 cups, and then a calf escapes from the barn, bumps into him, he drops 1 cup and smashes. All right? He comes to the king with the 1 cup that remains. And it says, 1 cup's left. Well, that one you better guard really, really well. So also, we poured 2 cups for Rabban Shomet Sinai, Naasev and Nishma, and then the calf broke out and bumped into us. That was the Cheta Ego. And says the Medrash, Shavartem Naaseh, Hizaru Benishma. You broke Naaseh. Make sure you watch Nishma, which is not a relation with Torah, until we process and until we after that we have to fight against our Yetzer Hara and fight against our inner filters to try to filter out what's not convenient to hear. It's all nishma, and whatever gets past the nishma, which is hard work, it filters down to lemaisa. We don't have the kesser of nasa anymore, where the body is just waiting to get its instructions, and immediately it goes right from the ear to the fingertips. Right. So Amalek already put that kilkel in the world, and Moshe Rabbeinu with the hands up is trying to bridge that gap that was created between the Yadayim. So you understand, and we write this in our book, right? Naaseh, hands overhead, is like Naaseh Kornelishma, because your hands will sometimes do more than what you understand, right? You don't have to understand it to do it. Just tell me what to do, I'll do it, and you'll do, your asiyah will be even more than your havana. The way simple Jews with Emunah Shlema serve Hashem, even though they don't have the background. And I'm not advocating being ignorant. I'm just saying that sometimes we see this bechina of nasa karnishim by the simplest Yidden who have Emunah Tmima, not Emunah Pshuta. Emunah Pshuta, contrary to popular misconception, is actually a very high level, that which is called Emunah Pshuta. It means non-contingent, you have absolute faith, is what Emunah Pshuta means. I'll talk about now Emunah Tmima, a wholesome, simple Emunah, that comes from, you just don't second guess the Rebbe Shalom. We find that just by the simplest people, in a certain way, simplest good people, it's they're Naseh, but of course it's only a remnant, only just a shred of the original Naseh, Kesser Naseh, where Mamash, the Torah goes in the ear, it goes straight down to the fingertips. Okay, right? So on Purim, where we're metaking this, right? We say it's like the day after. It's the day after, right? Year round, we're stuck in the world of the Eitz Hadas Tovara, which made a comeback after Cheta Egel, and we have roughly a day of Minatorah. That's Shavartem Naseh, right? The body just automatically doing whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, no questioning and no processing necessary, right? Yeah. So now, on Purim, we get to at that level of where it's as if the body is holy again, and that's why we eat and drink, which we know, Sifrei Musar and Sifrei Kabbalah, right? That if you eat more than what you survive, and exactly what you need to serve Hashem, anything beyond that is wrong to eat, and it's and even if it's not treif, you're called a novo b'rishus hatayra, right? And it's machazik the sitra achra, and on Purim it's the other way around. You can eat and eat and eat, and that's the mitzvah. Drink and drink and drink, and that's the mitzvah. Being machazik the guf is not, and giving the body what it wants, or even more than what it wants, right? Is not a problem because the body is kilu holy on this day, right? We're back to nasa kodem l'nishma, right? But of course, it's a portal that's in our personal realities. So we say we go there in our mind and in our heart. It's in our personal realities. Globally, the world is still, unfortunately, very adulterated with evil. Beside Akati Avdida Achashverosh Hanan, we are still slaves of Achashverosh, right? That's why we don't say Halo, because this is a very private experience for us. So we reach this very high level, and the body is dragged there, as we say, because even if it's in Machshava alone, but the body won't do wrong, right? Right? When your guard is down. But a higher consciousness is going to kick in, and we're pretty confident that we can live on the edge, right? So it is really asiya in a lemaisa, to the maximum extent that that the halacha allows us. Okay, but we're on the edge, So even though the full experience is in the mind and heart, because the outside world is still full of evil, right? But we're in a portal. We're in a portal to the future, and our bodies is in that portal also. To the extent that the body is connected to the mind, to the extent that the body shares space with three-dimensional space. So to that extent, the body's in this world that's still adulterated with evil, and that's why, like what I told my rabbeim all those years ago, it's more machshava than in lamais. That's why it's the ducky hat and not the ducky suit. Because all more machshava that we're on this higher plane, and the body is there also to the extent that the body is connected to consciousness. But you have to remember the body also shares 3D space with the rest of the world that's full of evil, and that's why, But in machshava and the chelik of the guf that's connected to the machshava, we've reached nasa, and that's what Yoni correctly said. Purim is asiya. Well, we spoke out, over Shabbos, the reason why we have to do Parsha Zohar before Purim is because it's poskim say Vayomer Nizkarim V'Nasim. You have to have the Zechira before the Asiyah. The day of Purim is called Asiyah. It's called doing, because we get back to Keser Nasa, to a certain extent, mitzad our internal reality, body, mitzad how it's connected to our internal reality gets Nasa, mitzad how it's connected to our external reality. That's why we got to watch ourselves. It's not that simple, right? The tikkun is not complete because akati avech shanan, right? We have this renewal in inner space, not in outer space. In outer space, I mean space around us, outside of ourselves, right? So, but we get back to nasa in that way, right? So that was a davar nifla mode, right? So it's a tikkun for roughly yedei min Torah. Now hadar kiblu b'mei Achashverosh. There's a reacceptance of Torah, which goes to connect the yadayim to the Torah. So now let's tighten this connection, pun intended. Connection, the hands with the Torah, right? The lemaisa of Torah is in Torah Shebaal Peh. There's not a single mitzvah, and please hear more. So there's not a single mitzvah command that you could be mekayim based on Torah Shebechsav alone. Not a single one. Not a single one. Right? Even bris milah doesn't say where to cut. Doesn't say how much to cut. There's not a single mitzvah that can be done without Torah Shebaal Peh. Not one. As far as I challenge you, anyone that a mitzvah that could be mekuyim based on the information in Chumash alone and kazadavar. Right? So the Torah Shebechsav, gives us inspiration and gives us the spirit of the law, right? But the details are in the Torah Shebaal Peh, right? The Ikar Kofalem Har Kegigis, even though Amisho said Nasa V'Nishma. So there's the Maharal's pshat that I'm not going to get into right now, but let's go to good old Tosfos, okay? Good old Tosfos that says maybe they wanted to back out by Matan Torah itself because of the great fire, right? But the Maharal, what we will go with, because it's a Tanchuma that he claims he had, I think it's Tanchuma Noach, right? It says that, listen, the Kafle Marcus was on Torah Shabbat Peh. They're willing to accept Torah Shabbat. They didn't have to be forced into Torah Shabbat Peh. I didn't to Torah Shabbat. They didn't have to be forced to Torah Shabbat. They didn't have to be forced to Torah Shabbat Peh. Dikdukea Azin, right? As all these details, tough details, right? So we have to be forced into Torah Shabbat Peh. Torah Shabbat Peh is the Lamaisa. Right, of course, everyone wants the spirit of Torah. The Bible's full of good ideas, nice ideas, spiritual ideas that other nations have stolen from us. Any other religion, whatever is good about them, they stole from our Tanakh, right? Well, it's the Lamaisa. The Na says in Torah Shabbat Peh. That's in Torah Shabbat Peh. And that was the Kafle Marki Gigas, the Lamaisa of Torah, the Lamaisa. So it says the Rambam Nifla Moed in his Hakdama to the the Yad HaChazaka. He paraphrases the Gemara and Brachos, right? That Hatara v'Mitzvah, Hatara zu Torah Shabbat, v'Mitzvah he Torah Shabbat Peh. Mitzvah, command is Torah Shabbat Peh. Torah is Chumash, right? Mitzvah zu Torah Shabbat Peh, because it's not, like we said before, not a single mitzvah, it's not a single command of God that you could perform without the information and guidance from the Torah Shabbat Peh. Not one. There's not a single command. You got a lot of spirit from the Torah, but the mitzvah is Torah Shabbat Peh, right? It's not, the Nasa is in Torah Shabbat Peh. That's where the Nasa is. That's the chibur of the Yad to the Torah, right? Is in the Torah Shabbat Peh, right? So the Hadar Kibla Mechashver, says the Maamar, based on Tanchuma, right, was on Torah Shabbat Peh. Torah Shabbat Peh, which is the Nasa. It's the restoration of the Nasa. That's our Yomer Niskarim V'Nasim. We get back to Keser Nasa, right? We get beyond the the Chet Rishon that made a comeback with Chet Ego Ad Lo Yada. We get back to above the eight Sadas. Hamina Torminayin Hamina eight Sadas, right? So we get back to Ad Lo Yada. We break through it, we smash through it. Not with our biochemical consciousness, because our biochemical consciousness is a part of the tainted world, right? We have Das Tovara, we shatter Das Tovara, and we attain a higher consciousness that we can't really hold within our biochemical consciousness, because our biochemical consciousness is tainted, right? But on this day, we restore Keser Nasa. It's coming that we're metaking the rough Yudem and HaTorah. Right, we get back to Naaseh, the Torah Shabbat Peh, which was what makes Torah L'Ma'aseh. Without Torah Shabbat Peh, it's not a single mitzvah you can do. Right? So there's the big tikkun that we have on this day. I'm going to say one other thing, with Bitachon Gomor, that I'll have much more to say tomorrow when we. But one more nakuda that I just learned mamish earlier this morning. I went. Got up early, went to the mikveh, and started grilling kisvei agra. So it's the, likutei agra, which is a lot of likutei minister, which have on them the pirush of Rav Isaac Chaver. And I saw that he says an amazing word on Purim Kippurim. So it's on the famous Gaon that we spoke about many times in years past. That Yom Kippur and Purim are really one day. It's Yom Kippur is the Chetzio Hashem, and Purim is the Chetzio Lachem. Because every Yom Tov should have Chetzi. On Purim you have no Chetzio Hashem, and on Yom Kippur you have no Chetzio Lachem. So they're really two halves of the same day, right? And of course, and they're both so bittul ara. We spoke about this many times in previous years, and I'm sure we'll recap it tomorrow as we televise our all-day long tish. Right, televising through this medium that we have right now. So, what I wanted to say is that so it's there's a famous thing that these are 2 days of bittul ara. So on Yom Kippur the Ra is batul because of ha'aras put it. It's a day of so much spirit. Has something's Gematria 364. There's 365 days a year. That's Yom Kippur. Is the 365th day where the sun doesn't work. So there's Bitorah mitzad ha'aras panim. And Purim is a bigger chiddush that there's Bitorah despite the fact that there is Hester panim, like we explained. There's bittul hara in our internal reality, even though Hester Panim is still all around us, kind of like you see your boogeyman at night and you just stare him down, stare right through him. It's still nighttime, but you stare your boogeyman in the face and you know he's not real. So it's even a higher revelation than if there could be, you can have the illusion, you pierce the illusion. As opposed to the day, the sunlight just dispels the scary shadows. Right, so that's Yom Kippur. That's the sunlight, right? And Purim is, to look into, be in the darkness and stare it down and say, "You don't scare me, Eino Mavado." Okay, and that's in that way. Purim's a higher gilui than Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur's Bina, and Purim there's Yisoid Abba. How you doing? Okay, so now. But I saw something amazing for Isaac Chaver that he's going on this gun that I briefly explained. Right, and the Revised Cover says an amazing thing, right? I never saw this before. That just like on Yom Kippur, there's the Sira Mishtalech. So even though it's the day of Bittul Hara, we still let evil have its little share, but it really works against them because we're giving him something to appease him. It's like, but I'm really just giving him our Averis. So we're just, as we're divesting ourselves from ourselves. His chelik that he has in us, we're passing it over to him, so we're actually poisoning him. If he thinks it gives, like sending a poison shlachmanis, and that's the point I want to get to. Right. So, because, the evil, if you did sins, look, justice is justice. So you got to buy him out. So that's the Sir Lazaz on Yom Kippur. Despite the fact to say if Ha'aras Parim, it's a chiddush that you need a Sirah. That is such an amazing chiddush. When you think about the chiddush is bigger on Yom Kippur, you need a Sir HaMishtalech. But on Purim, what's your Sir HaMishtalech? Right? So he says, in the days of Purim, it was the Suda that Esther made for Haman, giving Haman that food, right? Because Haman has koach over Jews because they're Averis. So the food that she fed Haman was the side of Sir HaMishtalech. This is like, you take our sins upon you. Right, it brought this out. But what is it ever since then? What's the Bechina of Sira Mishtalech? On Purim, he said, Ad lo yara ben Orham levarach Mordechai. Right, that when you accidentally make this bracha, Chas v'Shalom, for Haman, that you don't do it with this das. You do it with the ducky das, right? If you do it with this das, then God forbid, if you do it with the das of Eitz das Tovra, which perceives das Tovra, das Ra, right? You perceive Ra as a reality, so you give him a bracha, you're making him stronger. God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. But if you're ad lo yada, you're holding in that higher state of consciousness where evil's not real. So when in that higher state, if the word Baruch, God forbid, gets associated with the word Haman, it's Sira Mishtalech. Or you're not making him stronger by that bracha. It's like you b'shogeg, you made him stronger. No, you don't make him stronger at all. You make him weaker, because whatever averis and whatever zuama is in us goes to Haman with that quote unquote bracha. Just like by Sira Mishtaleach, that quote unquote gift carries all averis. That's the sod of when you reach ad lo yada, you reach ducky das, right? You need that higher consciousness, right, of above Eitz das Tovra that doesn't perceive evil as a reality. That quote unquote bracha is just whatever zuma we have in us, we just transfer to him. And like all the evil in the world just collapses upon itself like a black hole and just, pulls itself out of existence. Rabbi, I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. And if you didn't catch this live, catch it anytime. It's, it's here for posterity. Always timely because Purim is, the forever holiday. L'chaim.
Hi. Yeah. Put a chore in there.
Go ahead.
Right now.